What is up, you beautiful happy hustlers out there? I am super pumped for this episode of the Happy Hustle podcast, all about 6 ways to relieve stress and overcome anxiety. And let's be honest, stress and anxiety are a real happy hustle killer. Let's face that fact, okay? Because if you are full of stress and anxiety, you're not happy hustling. And there's a lot of reasons why people are getting stressed out these days more than usual and being filled with anxiety. But I want to talk about ways to relieve that stress and ways to overcome that anxiety. These are 6 proven and tested ways that you can actually become happier and more fulfilled and relieve that negative stress and anxiety. So let's dive in. I'm going to run through the list and then I'm going to dive into each of those. And the first one is exercise. Okay. The second one is reducing your caffeine intake. The third is journaling. The fourth is mindfulness practice. The fifth is listening to soothing or upbeat music. And the sixth is learning to say no. Now let's dive in because these are proven and tested ways that really can move the needle in your life. And I want to start with exercise. And it seems like, oh, that's an easy one. Yeah, just exercise. Because let's face it, we all feel better after we exercise. But the science behind it actually backs this up. I mean, exercise is one of the most important things you can do to combat stress. And it even seems a little contradictory to put physical stress on your body, but that actually does relieve mental stress. Now, the benefits why exercising actually works is because they're less likely to experience anxiety because you are actually decreasing the body's natural stress hormones, i.e., cortisol. And in the long run, this helps release endorphins, which are chemicals that improve your mood and act as natural painkillers. So when you are actually exercising, you're decreasing your cortisol levels and you're increasing your endorphin levels. Okay. Now, when you actually exercise and push yourself, not just, walking on the treadmill casually for like 10 minutes, but you actually push yourself and break a sweat and you work out in your target heart rate zone where you're actually, getting a nice workout. This actually helps improve the quality of your sleep. And, lack of sleep is directly correlated with stress and anxiety. I mean, I know when I'm not sleeping right and not getting my full rested 8 hours, I'm really, much more stressed. So I want you to think about pushing yourself at your next workout knowing these benefits. And also, when you exercise, it boosts your confidence levels, right? You'll feel more confident about your body, which in turn promotes mental well being. Okay. So find an exercise routine that is right for you. Find one that you enjoy doing. If it's dancing or if it's doing a martial arts practice or rock climbing or yoga or something that you enjoy doing where it doesn't become a burden on your day, but rather you look forward to your workout, then you'll for sure be on the right track to decreasing that stress and that anxiety and those cortisol levels and increasing those endorphins and those feel-good hormones that are released, and you'll increase the confidence as you exercise. So that is the first way to relieve stress and overcome anxiety. Okay. Now, the second way is reducing your caffeine intake. Now, I know I love a good coffee just as much as the next guy, and it's not necessarily that I'm asking you to give up your coffee here, okay, people? I wouldn't do that. However, if you are absorbing caffeine in forms of tea or chocolate or energy drinks, these high doses of caffeine can increase anxiety. I know if I take a pre-workout and I just had, you know, some other form of caffeine, whether a tea or something else, I get like a little bit antsy. My heart starts racing, and I only take natural pre-workouts, at least the most clean form of pre-workout possible, like amino acids and whatnot. However, if you are dosing up on multiple coffees throughout the day, and you're actually taking then maybe a pre-workout, and then maybe you're also taking, some form of caffeine through your chocolate or through an energy drink, you might be overdoing it, and it might be directly correlated with your stress levels and your anxiety. So you have to realize that people have different thresholds of caffeine. That's just not just the reality of the situation. How much can you actually tolerate without getting stressed or having anxiety, right? Because it can make you jittery or anxious. So you might want to cut back if those are some of the symptoms. Now, studies show that coffee can be healthy in moderation, which is great because, hey, I love coffee. However, if you're having more more than like 3 cups per day, you're probably pushing it, okay? I think really monitoring your caffeine intake will drastically decrease your stress and anxiety. So make sure that if you are feeling stressed or anxious, take stock in how much caffeine you're putting in your body. Okay. That was number 2. Now, number 3, journaling. Write it down. All right. One way to best handle and mitigate stress is to write things down, especially the things that you might be stressed about. When you get it out of your head and onto paper, it's easier to see what's really going on and what's the root cause. Now, when you write down what you're stressed about and what you're, potentially anxious about, then switch it to gratitude and write down what you're actually grateful for. Gratitude really helps relieve stress and anxiety, and it can be a great way to focus your thoughts on what's positive in your life. I love focusing on gratitude, especially when the chips are down, especially when things are not necessarily going as planned, or I'm feeling, fearful or a lack. And I focus on gratitude, and I can say, oh, whoa, I can actually write. I got 5 fingers. Wow, that's amazing. 10 fingers, actually, but I write with 5. And, looking at, it's the sun shining. I get to live in this beautiful environment, and I can breathe fresh air, and I can even speak. There's a lot to be grateful for. So focusing on gratitude is a great way to relieve stress and also overcome anxiety. So that's number 3. Number 4, practice mindfulness. Now, this could be a multitude of practices. What works best for you? I'll name a couple, and then you pick which ones work best for you. But this is one of the best ways that you can actually combat anxiety and induce those effects of positive thinking and reduce the effects of negative thinking. Right? There's several methods for actually increasing mindfulness, and this is just based on cognitive therapy. I mean, mindfulness practices really do reduce that negative thinking and the stress that comes with the negative thinking. I.e., if you focus on the problem will expand. If you focus on the solution will manifest. So think about how you can tap into mindfulness when you are stressed and when you are full of anxiety. I'm going to give you some of my favorite ways. Number 1, obviously, meditating, getting just 5-10 minutes of stillness. Deep inhale through the nose, double breath out, double breath out, and just replicating that process is a great way to actually decrease stress and overcome anxiety. There's also other forms of meditation that you can do. I mean, find what works best for you. Deep breath in. There's box breathing where you do a 5-second inhale all through the nose, 5-second hold with your lungs full, 5-second exhale all through the nose, and then 5-second hold. That's a great way to just get out of your head and focus right on your breath. It's hard to multitask and focus on your breath and the things you're stressed about and the anxieties, circulating in your brain. So if you can, focus on your breath, you will get away from that stress. Now, another way to practice mindfulness is breath work. Specifically, I like to focus on actually like a breath of fire where I actually push myself, and I'll do rounds of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 sometimes. And I like to do these and really push myself in with 100% inhale and then 25% out exhale. And I go through this process, 10 breaths, then I hold. Then I do another 20 breaths, and then I hold. I'm telling you, by the end of just doing these 3 rounds, let's just say you do 10 breaths in, and then 20 breaths in, and then 30 breaths in, you will feel completely different. Your whole body will be hyper oxygenated, and you will feel the effects. I'm telling you, breath work is a great mindfulness practice. Also, think about like yoga or tai chi or qigong, a moving meditation. Sometimes it's hard for me to sit still. I like to go go go. So if I'm not able to sit still, okay, well, I'll put on a tai chi video or a qigong practice, and I'll just follow along for 15 minutes. These are great ways, and yoga as well, great ways to get out of your head into your body and just focusing on your breath. And then lastly, I'll say just walking in nature, getting outside, fresh air. If you can be barefoot, that's great, where you can ground yourself, getting vitamin D from the sun. That will change your whole day if you can just get outside and practice some form of mindfulness. All right. And that was number 4. Now let's get into number 5, way to relieve stress and overcome anxiety. And that is listen to soothing or upbeat music. Now I'm going to let you choose whatever you're in the mood for. But listening to soothing or upbeat music is a great way to relieve stress and overcome anxiety. I mean, it really does have a relaxing effect on the body. Sometimes I like to listen to slow paced, like some native tribal music or some Celtic or some bagpipe music even, and then sometimes I like to just put on some hot tropical house beats and I'm just boom, fun, upbeat vibes that really can change your whole state. Music has an amazing way to change your state. So if you're stressed or full of anxiety, put on some hot tracks that you enjoy. I like tropical house mix. You can look it up on YouTube or you can look it up on Spotify. Or if you want a little more soothing and you want to, tap into nature sounds or some Native American tribal music or Celtic or, bagpipe music, these are great ways to really decrease that stress and then overcome that anxiety that you're facing. So that was number 5. And then number 6 way to relieve stress and anxiety is just learn to say no, right? Learning to say no. Not all stressors are within your control. However, some of them are, right? So realize what you can take control over in your life and say no to that stress, right? If you know that, doing a webinar for online copywriting is causing you stress because then you feel like it's so much to learn and you just don't know where to go, well, maybe don't do that online webinar for copywriting. Pick another way to consume that content. Maybe reading it through a book form in a quiet place, right? I mean, you just have to figure out what is a yes and what is a no. And for me, I like to put things through the filter. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I'm not always perfect with this. We all got to earn the right to do what we love, right? However, sometimes you can really choose what you say yes to and what you say no to. And if it's not a hell yes, make it a no and just practice that mentality. Be selective what you take on, what you are saying no to, and what you are saying yes to. What you say yes to will then dictate what is actually taking place in your day, and what you say no to will then leave room for the things that you want to say yes to, right? But if your schedule is full of things that you're not too stoked about, that you're not very excited about, well, maybe take stock in your schedule and change it up. Okay. I mean, really relieving your workload or your day's, schedule and reducing the stress levels that come with those no's or maybes and only focusing on things that you say yes to is a great way to relieve stress and overcome that anxiety. So, bottom line, guys, let's face it, stress and anxiety are going to arise in the workplace, in your personal life. There's just no way around having stress and anxiety in some form, but you can relieve that stress and you can overcome that anxiety with proven and tested tactics. And I just named 6 of them, and I want to recap them real quick so you guys can implement them in your life next time, you are feeling stressed or anxious. First way is exercise. All right, get out, move the body, sweat, release those endorphins and decrease those cortisol levels, okay? And increase the quality of your sleep in the process. Number 2, reduce your caffeine intake. If you're stressed and anxious, take stock in how much caffeine you're putting in your body. Number 3, journal. Write it down. Write down what's causing you stress and anxiety, and then focus on gratitude. Write out 5 to 10 things you're grateful for, and I'm telling you, it'll change your mood and change the way you look at your life. Number 6, practice mindfulness. We mentioned a couple different tactics: meditation, breath work, yoga, tai chi, qigong, walking in nature. These are some great ways to practice mindfulness. Number 5, listen to soothing music. I mean, put on some, really soothing, calming music if you're feeling stressed or anxious. Some Celtic, some Native American tribal music, maybe, some bagpipe music, or if you want to go the other way, go upbeat, put on some tropical house jams. And, I'm curious what you play. And if you find a good track in this realm, some good music that helps you bust that stress, please share it with me. Send me a DM. I want to hear what you guys are listening to so I can listen to it too and share it with the tribe of happy hustlers. And number 6 is learn to say no. Guys, remove those no's from your schedule, the things that you are not excited about, the things that aren't bringing you joy, and focus on saying yes to more things. Make it a hell yes if you're going to say yes to it, or make it a no. All right. So those are 6 ways to relieve stress and overcome anxiety in your life so you can happy hustle your dream reality, baby, full of that passion, that purpose, and that positive impact. All right, y'all. I hope you got some value from this one. I really do hope that you implement these lessons and these tactics and these ways to relieve that stress and overcome that anxiety next time some things do arise in your life. Because let's face it, it's going to happen. Adversity strikes, but you are now well equipped to handle it. So go out there, y'all, and happy hustle right now. I love you. I'm out. Peace and love.